Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Tech Niche Tips. I am your host, Joseph M. Smith, and like I always say, we have another one for you. But this one is a little bit different. It's not just one guest. We're going to have multiple guests joining us here that are part of a group called Tech Sales Nexus. So if you are watching this and you are brand new to the channel, go ahead, like, comment, and if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Instagram, go ahead, like and comment. I do see Arnold here on IG, so glad to see you. So glad that you're rocking with us. So that is awesome. And I'm gonna drop the ticker here because halfway through the show, we're gonna have exclusive question and answer with our guest. Question and answer with them. So go ahead, and if you are interested in being part of the Q&A, it's right there below, youtube.com/@ Tech Niche Tips. That's youtube.com/@ Tech Niche Chips to join us here. So before I get into it, we do want to thank our sponsors. We have a couple of them, one being Level Careers. If you are familiar with Kevin Dorsey, he actually teaches one of the courses there in regards to being a tech sales closer or just a closer in sales as in general. So if you want to definitely check that out, go ahead, especially if you're on YouTube. The information is below. If you're interested in being a part of course careers and transitioning into tech industry, that's what I took to get there. So that is there below as well. Definitely highly recommended. There's leaders in the industry, various areas, whether it's data analytics, whether it's actually doing what we call technology sales, or other areas that you want to look into and invest in yourself. Definitely check that out for yourself. It's something that you're going to enjoy. And lastly, Learnful. If you want to learn pre-sales in a community of people that are willing and able to share their experiences, share their knowledge, and help you get to where you need to go with mentorship and coaching, then you want to check out Learnful as well. So I'm excited for this conversation. It's going to be a great one. But I wanted to just preface that by saying, listen, this is a very active conversation that we're going to have. So if you have any questions, if there's anything that you want to also just share, go ahead and put it in the comment section below, and we'll gladly share it. And so, we'll talk about it for sure. So definitely put it below, and we'll definitely talk about it. But without further ado, I'm going to bring on our guests. We have Akachi and Gertrude, leaders of the Tech Sales Nexus. How are you ladies doing?
Hi.
Hi, Akachi.
So good to
I'm
have
doing,
Hi.
you.
I'm
Hi.
doing
So good
amazing.
to
I'm
be
doing good.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
so glad to have you as well. This is going to be a fun conversation. And I just wanted to kind of
Yeah.
just say I'm excited to talk about this because this is something that has come up multiple times with various
Mhm.
people, most of them strangers, who said, "Hey, I am living in this part of the world. I'm living in that part of the world, and I want to get into the tech sales industry. I want to get into tech, but I don't know how to do it." I mean, you're in America, you're in the
Mm.
States, you have that ability to do so, or or you may be in London or someplace in the UA, you could do that, but I can't, and so I feel like I can't, and so that's why I wanted to bring you guys on. So I'm really excited to do that. But before I even get started, what I would love for you to do is to share exactly what you're doing right now and what it is that you founded, and we'll get into the conversation.
Okay.
Okay.
AK, do you want to go
Gotcha.
first?
Okay, so I can. So my name is Akachi. Um, I've been in sales for quite some time. I've sold a range of things. I've sold pharmaceuticals, I've sold electricals, I've sold agric services. Then I went into tech sales
Mm.
two years ago, thereabouts. Right now, I work with a company called Chili Piper. I think we're very popular in the US.
Yeah.
So I work as an SDR at Chili Piper, and I work from here in Nigeria. So that is one of the things that I saw that is very different from what we do here in Nigeria. And I wanted, that was one of the reasons we started Tech Sales Nexus, not to spill a lot of beans. I'll leave Gertrude to introduce herself.
Okay. So my name is Gertrude, and I'm the co-founder of Tech Sales Nexus, and it's a pleasure to be here once again. And I said that earlier, and I'm saying it
Yeah.
again.
Please
How
do.
I got into tech sales. I stumbled into tech sales generally. my dad and my mom, they have a solid business background, and that was how I got introduced to selling. And afterwards, I worked with a travel company at the time, and I got to sell travel membership for a bit. But afterwards, I left, and I was like, I don't think this is for me. Got into education, and I became a trained Montessori directress. I did that for 3 years. And
Wow.
afterwards, I started to be more interested in tech, started to pay attention to a lot of tech. At the time, fintech, because I was trying to up my finances, and the fintech companies then, they were doing it for me. So it was interesting to see all the amazing things they were doing. And I really wanted to be in the room where these decisions were being made. So I took a chance on myself. I resigned, sent a DM to one of the CEOs on Twitter, and told him that I would love to work with them. Look, I'm an educationist. It's what I've known, but I used to have a bit of a sales. I have a bit of sales experience, and he was like, okay, you know what? We have some sales associate role open, and you can apply for that. And
Mm,
that was it. I applied. When I came in, I didn't even know what I was doing was tech sales, but I was just selling.
yes.
The company's name is RiseVest. It's a fintech. They do dollar-backed investments and savings. So I was just selling, and as I moved up, connected with other business development executives and associates, I started to see a bit more of tech sales here and there, and I was like, okay. And then I
Yeah.
saw Akachi on Instagram, and I saw tech sales. I was like, okay. I sent her a DM, and she helped me also. And I joined a couple of other communities, and I started to see, okay, this is what we're doing. This is how it should be done. And
Mm,
yeah, I upped my skills, and I started to be more excited about what I'm doing, and it made me really enthusiastic about this space and the potential there. And I struggled when I started, and I don't want others to struggle. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's so good. And so I'm glad that you kind of went in deep into your story so that we could get a picture of what it took to get you there. Let me ask
Yeah.
you, Akachi, this. In regards to your journey, how was it hard to get to where you are right now? Like what did that journey look like for you?
Oh, it was really hard. It was difficult.
Mm,
So because I didn't want to, but let me just share. I started out in sales because of my uncle. He is a pharmacist, and he started out as a pharmaceutical sales rep. So that was the first time I ever had like an interaction with sales at all. And one of the reasons that I went in was one day, because I did my industrial training with him and his company as at then. So one day I went into training. I went to him to, kind of give medicine to this pharmacy. And the man came out with so much, like, he was so excited, and everything. I'm like, this man is still going to pay my uncle, yes, because he's too excited, and everything. So I felt, I felt like, okay, so my uncle is selling, but he's really helping and he's really making an impact in somebody's life. And that was it. I was sold into sales, kind of. And um I people don't know I moved to Lagos. I don't have any family member here in Lagos because I felt like
really?
this was the commercial. Yes, this is commercial. This is actually the commercial state in Nigeria. So I moved, to Lagos just because I wanted to find that place that would give me that expression to meet people. That was what I thought sales was, meeting people, talking
Mm,
to people, telling them to come and buy, and everything. Till I met people who I started cold calling, I started cold emailing, and people were like, stop, and I was like, what's going on here? And everything. So yeah, it was difficult. It was very tough, to the point where I started working in tech sales and started working with foreign companies. It was very difficult. I wanted to work remotely because I found that sales took a lot of my time, and I had very little time for family. So I went,
wow.
I was looking for something around working from home and everything. So I did front end, I did data analytics, I did product management. I dabbled a lot
Everything.
in the different tech spaces just to find that place that would give me what I wanted, till the company that I started would give me a chance to do something called tech sales. and I struggled a lot. So when I left the company, I was like, nah, I'm not letting anyone go through this. I'm going to help as much as I can. So that's here we are.
Wow. So I'm going to ask Akachi this first, but Gertrude, definitely chime in. What struggles did you have initially when you got into the industry?
I think the first one was trying to get that synergy with my messaging and the conversations I was having with the prospects. First of all, how it works here is there's something we call gate crashing. So you go to a company's gate and you're like, oh, I have this solution I want to sell, and could you let me in? And everything. Now we don't do that. Now I have to send an email. I have to connect with somebody on LinkedIn. I'm like, how do you even use that? How do you make that happen? How do you write something that somebody resonates with and says, oh, let's do this? How do you build that connection with somebody that you don't know? There's this thing that if it was somebody here in Nigeria, I'm like, oh, did you see the protest? Did you see this? There was some conversations that would come in and make the whole thing like go so well. But right now, I don't have that. I really don't know what's happening in the US unless I try to get the news. And I will not share it as much as somebody who is in the US, with all the emotions and everything that comes with it. So that was one of the places that I struggled, because I always found like a landing path for I and my prospects, usually, just to have that connection, because I know that people buy, are emotional buyers. So I try to find that place to connect to them emotionally. And that was really difficult.
Oh man, Gertrude, was that the same for you, or did you have other challenges?
No, that wasn't my challenge. My challenge was support at the outset. It's always, like I mentioned, I had no idea that I was doing tech sales. Even the company that I worked with, it's a tech company, but I'm so sure they had no idea that what we were doing was even tech sales. And I came in at the time that the manager who I met was leaving. So it was just me. So I was literally thrown in the wild, for lack of how else to express it.
All by
Yeah. So I
yourself.
had to I had to figure things out on my own. It was crazy. So that was when LinkedIn became my best friend. I went on LinkedIn and I started to connect with other people in tech sales. And then it came to mind that I should search the hashtag tech sales on Instagram. I did that on Instagram. I did that on Twitter. And I started to see more people. That was how I also saw Akachi. That was how I met her, and we connected on on Instagram. I beg your pardon, and thereon we form a relationship. Same with a couple of other people, and then I saw that there were a lot of communities, especially in the US. I'm like, seriously, something that seems so alien to us here in Nigeria, in Africa. There were tens of communities for tech sales professionals, and I'm like, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Then we need to do more of that here, honestly. And it's lucrative financially. It helps you connect with amazing people, right? Build relationships that would set you on the most amazing career path, right? But nobody is talking about it as much as they used to. And already in Nigeria, there is this thing about sales. So people tend to treat sales like at the bottom rung of the ladder.
Yeah.
So no conversation about tech sales. There is no conversation about professionals that are in sales. Even the professionals that are thriving in sales would look for all sort of fluffy terms to give themselves that would not seem like they're actually doing sales. So nobody was, the support wasn't there. And that was what I struggled with. And that is what we're trying to eradicate right now.
Yeah. And
I think that one of the issues. No, I just wanted to chip in a little bit to what Gertrude just said. I think one of the issues that we have here in Nigeria or Africa is that there is this thing that every salesperson is a marketer and every marketer is a salesperson. I have this conversation, and I know that every other person have this conversation, but it's really like very conk here, because everybody thinks that, oh, I'm doing sales, then it's marketing. No, I'm not. I try to like have that difference, because a lot of companies here don't really have marketing departments. They generally have like sales departments. Sometimes they just have marketing departments and expect them to sell. And sometimes they have
Sure.
the sales department and expect them to build the awareness that is needed online, and everything. There's just that confusion, in the minds of, I think, founders and leaders here. I think that's one of the issues.
No, I think that's a
Yeah.
really good point. And I'm going to say this to the audience. If you guys are finding any value in this conversation, don't forget to like this and share this with somebody that you may know who has probably been in the same boat, trying to transition, trying to get to where they are, right? Go ahead and let them know right now in the chat that there's a conversation going on that they need to be a part of. So let's stop right there and say that before we continue. But now, Gertrude, you said it. And I'm going to go back to both you and Akachi, whoever wants to talk about this
Okay.
first. That moment when you realize there was a problem, which is part of sales, you identify a problem and try to be a problem solver. And then just do that and do it for an exchange of currency. That's sales, right? So, in a nutshell, so when you identified that problem of a lack of community, you found Akachi, you found there was synergy. What was that conversation like when you guys first met and had this talk about this subject?
Oh, I'm a talker. Akachi's. I'm the talker and the more emotionally expressive person. Akachi is very chill. So I was so excited. Hi, you're doing tech sales. I sent her a message on Instagram, and I literally just went off. And I'm sure she'll be like, girl, chill. What's wrong with you? But I was so excited that I found someone else doing what I was interested in. And she
Yeah.
was gracious enough to say, okay, you know what? And I'm glad. I like to take a chance on people. Most of what we do, we just code it. I mean, we're sellers, right? So I was like, what's the worst that could happen? She would just, not say anything. But thankfully, she warmed up to the conversation and she was like, okay, yeah, let's have a conversation. She even linked me to this there was this tech sales course thing going on at the time, and we had never met, but we were able to work together on that. And yeah, it was really exciting, honestly. And till now we're still trying to match each other's energy and get to know each other. But honestly, it was so exciting when I first met her, and even when we first met each other physically, I was so excited to see her, as I still am right now.
Yeah, I think it's the same feeling for me too. One of the things that was happening as a thing, so I had the community that it was. Let me breathe. So I had this community. It was salespeople, but then I got like
Funny.
family and friends, and everybody just came into the community. And I'm like, you guys are not meant to be here,
Oh
and
no.
I was creating content on IG about sales and everything, and then I'll get like a lot of family members and friends. I'll be like, I want to do sales. I'm like, it's not easy. So when she reached out to me, and I was like, yes, alas, one person who is in sales, who has found my who has found me, who has found my content, and all of that. And it was like a prayer answer, getting
Oh,
her, getting her message and everything. So yeah, I was blown out, like, sincerely.
No, I love it. I love it. Go ahead, Gertrude. You would say something?
nothing exactly. I just wanted to add that afterwards we built that relationship last year, and this year she sent me a message that she wanted to call, and then she called me and said she has been thinking, and she said we should start our own community together. And I was like, okay, I mean, I love tech sales, but managing a community, that wasn't a part of my plan. That wasn't a part of the picture. And I was like, you know what, let me go pray about it, because at the time it seemed so daunting. I'm like, how am I going to grow a community and manage a community, right? And I mean, who isn't up for a challenge, and you're in sales? So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's do this. Let's try. And I go back to her and I was like, okay, let's try, let's do this. And so far so good. We started in late January, February ish, and we've been pushing till now. It's been fun. It's been fun.
Nice. Nice. And listen, y'all, we're gonna have
Yep.
that Q&A very
Yep.
soon. So go ahead and put in the comment section below. And I'm gonna pass it back to Kachi before I have this next question. But Kachi, yes, definitely respond to what you're gonna say. And also, if you can add to that, talk about what is happening in the community from when you started to now. But go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
Okay. So what is happening in the community? What was happening? So the first thing that, when we started out, like she mentioned, she's the social bird. I'm like, should I talk to you? Should I not talk to you? I'm the sales introvert, kind of,
Yeah.
So when we started out, and I told her that one of the reasons that I have not, I've not even tried creating like social media platforms for the community was because what to post, so and then she was like, yeah, she she does, she doesn't mind. She did a course in digital marketing. I'm like, who are you? Like, who is this person?
You guys
And
work together really well.
Yes, we
yes,
do.
like how did I get so lucky, and
I know.
everything. So when when we had the first conversations, it was around the name. We put out a name that we really liked, but it was take. Oh no, should we say it, Gertrude? This name is
I don't know.
taken.
I don't know. Maybe not. But eventually it will be
Taken.
out, so it's
The
fine.
name, yeah, the name on the CAC is different from this one. So we
Yes.
had that synergy. We're like, let's make this official. Let's be co-founders. Let's do this. Let's bring out people. Then we decided, not to do the same not to make the same mistakes that I did by sharing it to my friends and family. So I never did. I think
Yeah.
they found out around May that I'm seeing your poster somewhere. What's happening? I'm like, yes, I have a community.
Very
And
much.
it's not the same one that you know about, and no, you're not invited to join. So stuff like that. We decided to become very strict about people who join the community
Yes.
because we're trying to find a very specific kind of people. Why we started was because we had some issues that we felt like we don't want another person to go through. So
Mhm.
when we started, it was like where 2 or 3 are gathered till May.
Wait
Wow.
till three are gathered, really.
Yeah, it was where 2 or 3 are gathered
Oh
till May.
my
Then people on their own, saw our LinkedIn, saw our IG, saw Twitter, and they were like, "Oh, I see your community. Oh, let's do this." Oh, I'm like, wow, who blew the trumpets?
Yeah.
And it's been on and on and on and on like
And it's
that
been
till
growth.
like
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, and it's been really good. We got to, yeah, so we decided to start off like, we were like, what is like the catching point for this community? And we thought like having live sessions, not just people from Africa, not just for salespeople from Africa. We wanted salespeople from around the world, to come for our
Mm.
live sessions, share their ideas in their own understanding from where they're coming from. And I feel like a lot of times when I speak to people in our community, there is that expansion of mindset, and that is answered prayers. Amen to that. And that's where we are at now. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, our future is really big and scary.
Don't
But
forget
yeah,
Ty.
we're going
Don't
to do
forget
it.
Ty.
Oh
Oh
Akachi,
my
no.
don't forget
God!
Ty.
And Ty is our godfather.
Yes.
Ty Smith is Ty Smith is a
Ty
godfather. Like
Smith.
he has connected us to like how
Amazing
many?
people like Joseph, you see? So
Oh, thank
yeah.
you.
Yes, a lot of people,
Likewise.
a lot of people, and they are all amazing people. Sincerely, it's not
Mhm.
because we're here. Everyone that Ty has introduced us to are amazing.
Miriam.
Kaivona, Miriam, a lot of people. So yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
our
Go ahead,
godfather.
Gertrude.
We're going
You.
to pound. We're going to give him okra and pounded yam when he comes to Nigeria.
Fufu. Right. Oh boy.
Fufu, yes,
And then Nigerian jollof rice. The Nigerian jollof
Jollof
rice.
rice, yeah.
yes,
And
yes.
Dodo.
That is better than the Ghanaian zone.
I'm not gonna get into that fight right there. I'm saying my
I'm
corner.
not part of that
I'll say it right
conversation.
here. I didn't say it, y'all. I didn't say it. I promise you, I didn't say. I'm saying, Mike. I did not say it. I'm not in the fight.
Oh my God. Joseph. Oh my
Ty Smith in
goodness.
the building as well. Ty Smith is saying smiley face, smiley face, smiley face,
Yeah,
man. He is the
I can see
Clarence.
Ty's comments.
He is fastly becoming the Clarence Avon of our industry. So we appreciate you,
Mm-hmm.
man. Thank you so much for all the hard work that
We
you
love you,
have done.
Ty.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for sure. Oh man,
Yeah.
this is good. It could be a good conversation. You know what, y'all? If y'all have questions, put it in the comment section. But I'm gonna just keep going. I'm gonna keep going because there's so much things to cover here. And so let's talk about again that community. What were the type of challenges that people were facing that were coming to the community? Were they the same like yours, or did you find that other people had different challenges, especially those that were working in an in an African nation trying to get into tech sales?
Okay. So same thing, support. Right now, I have two messages that I've not answered on our Slack community that came in yesterday about how the courses to take, and the other question was about mentorship. One was asking about the courses to take to get started. So she doesn't have a job at all now, and she doesn't have any experience whatsoever in tech sales. So she wants a course that would, give her that good head start. And
Yeah.
then the other guy in the community is asking if there is room for what's it called, understudying, where you get to like understudy someone, how they close a meeting, how and I told him, what, let's get back to this conversation, and that's been it. So it's same thing consistently. Support. How do I get started? How? Most people are like lost as to how to get, they're interested, they see the potential, but they don't know how to dive in head first.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to add anything to that, Kachi? That was good.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. And people who are in tech sales, in one company or the other, that are not really happy, they don't see a potential of growth. They are like, how do I, excuse me, how do I come to the point where I can work with foreign companies? I can get that knowledge of working. I think it's the same thing. So support, 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 from every stage of their career where
Mm-hmm.
they are at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so true. I think in every industry, mentorship, having that support is essential, and also something that's affordable for the community and those that are in the audience. Because, like you said, that particular person, they're not working right now. They're starting from the
Mm-hmm.
ground zero, so they may not be able to afford a course, especially ones that we have in the states for the price points that
Mm-hmm.
they're at. They're gonna
Sure.
probably need something. Yeah, they're probably gonna need that mentorship, somebody that is really willing to give themselves. And traditional mentorship is that where it's not the person is not receiving any sort of payment, any sort of like compensation for mentoring that individual. But what they do have is they have the just the pride and just encouragement of knowing that they're building up the next generation in the industry.
Sure.
So
Hmm.
so that's the good thing about what you're able to provide is that you are bringing in those coaches, you are bringing in those people that can speak, even though it's for one time. You have that recording; they could go back to that, and then they could grow. Like I was on a great conversation with Kavana when she came by and she spoke and she really kind of broke it down in regards to handling objections. But that's
Yeah.
the type of
Hmm.
valuable information that if somebody was to really grab a hold of and take
Mm-hmm.
that with them, then they can really make do leaps and bounds. Now, going back to support, because this is one of the questions that we actually had a conversation prior to, again, something that I alluded to in the beginning of this conversation was the challenges of having these foreign companies coming in and saying, yes, we're willing to hire you in spite of the tax issues, in spite of the healthcare discrepancies, in spite of these other different issues that happen on a structural level. Like, how do you overcome that to get these companies to notice you? Akachi, you can answer first, or Gertrude, whichever feels ready to answer.
So I think for me, one of the things that helped me, and I could say, God got me, but one of the things that helped me was I worked with a company. It's a Canadian company, but 90% of salespeople there are from Nigeria. And what we did was
Wait,
outsourcing
you said
sales.
90% are from Nigeria?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
90% of salespeople there are from
I'll go to
Nigeria,
her LinkedIn
actually.
right
Like,
now and see who she works for.
it was volley. It was volley. So it's an outsourcing sales outsourcing company. Some companies in the US. Okay, so it's different here in Nigeria, where from the beginning of your outbound till when you close and you manage your accounts, everything is called sales here in Nigeria. And in the US, there's SDR, BDR, SDR, BDR, there's AE, there's account management, there's customer success. So for those kind of companies who come to Volley, they want to outsource their SDR function and BDR function so someone else can handle it. So that was what we did, and that was what helped me. So it gave me that edge that when I was speaking with companies, I'm like, I've worked remotely, I've worked with people from like different cultures and different countries and different time zones, and we have worked well. So it's not going to be an issue for me. So one of the things that I try to speak with people who want to work with these companies is, yes, give them those terminologies. Yes, I have used Apollo. Yes, I have used HubSpot. Yes, I
Mm,
have used Salesloft. Tell them those things. Tell them those things that their ears want to hear. And if you get somebody that is really, 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 really welcoming, you can tell them, yes, I have, I have a full course on Salesloft and everything. And yeah, you can give me 1 month. And if I don't do well in 1 month, then you take me out. So
wow.
that was how I got into my second sales role. I told the CEO that 1 month, if you feel like you can't work with me, then I totally understand. And in 1 month, my salary was increased. So, but but yeah, that was, because I had that privilege of working with Volley and having that first-hand experience, reaching out to companies outside of Nigeria. It's made it way easier for me to get like my second one, and which is what I always tell people: get that first. Once you get that first one, just get that first one, no matter, even if the pay is $100, just get that first one, and the second ones
Mm,
will really sincerely just flow in.
Okay. Thank you, Akachi. Sounds good. So what we are also trying to do to get tech sales nexus and those of us here in Africa that are interested in tech sales in Nigeria and other parts of the world where tech sales is not as propagated as we would love for it to be and be hired as we would love for us to be hired. Is just keep putting your best foot forward, keep showing up,
mm,
keep being more visible. LinkedIn is powerful, honestly.
yes.
And to answer your question, if I want a role right now in the US, in say Canada or whatever, I will be very strategic as to how I connect with the companies that I'm interested in, how I connect with the managers, this business development managers on LinkedIn. Right now, I always tell like right now I don't intend to leave where I am now, but as soon as I'm ready, I'll be very strategic about how visible I want to be. So it's about putting yourself out there, be more vocal about what you do and what you can do. Honestly, and like what Akachi said, you can just send a message to someone on LinkedIn who leads the department of a particular company, say for example Deal or Chili Piper, where Akachi works, and say, okay, this is what I do. I saw that there was a vacancy here, and I'm interested in working with this company because and this is my experience so far. Give me 1 month, right? And you just never know. But you just have
And-
to make yourself more visible and be more vocal about what you do.
wow. And here's the thing that I wanted to say about that 1 month situation. That's not a lot of time to ramp up. You got to
True
come.
lands, actually.
Yeah,
True.
you got to come through the gates kicking in order for you to stand out like
Honestly.
that. So if you
Yeah.
could do that, what you're saying, like give me a month, and they could realize the value that you provide within a month's time, then that shows that you need to be good. And maybe we got to talk about this offline. But I think y'all Have you taught courses about this? Like what your journey, like that's a specific part about, okay, you live in South Africa, you live in Tanzania, you want to work, this is how you do it. Have you done that step by step for people?
Okay, we've not done that
Okay.
yet. We've
Okay.
not done, sorry, Akachi. We've not done that yet. I mean, to the best of my experience, I've not done that with anybody for now.
Ooh,
What I've done so far is just help people who are interested in tech sales, just guide them as to how they can start. And even if you feel like you don't have an experience, you know, sell your transferable skills. We also have a partnership with Genius Nimble that gives
okay.
members of our community discounts on courses. We also have a partnership with Bloppy that
Hmm.
connects members of the community with global companies. So we're
Mm-hmm.
strategically,
Oh,
yeah. So Bloppy, what
yes.
Bloppy does is it helps you connect to good companies outside Nigeria, outside Africa, for you to be able to, you know, get that experience that you need. And of course, Genius Nimble gives you discount on good tech sales courses, good books. So we
Yeah.
already have that partnership right now on ground. So it's been very strategic for us trying to get people to get in and get the support that they need and connect them, because at the end of the day you don't want to just have all this knowledge and you're not connected to a job. Connect you to that job, and we're still looking at other partnerships that we can explore to make sure that we're getting value right here.
Listen, you
Yeah.
guys. Go ahead, Akachi.
No, no, no. I just wanted to add like two sentences if I can. But
Yes.
but what I wanted to say is, one of the things that before I could work with Chili Piper, because I think I have like two people from the community reached out to me. Oh, you work with Chili Piper? I've tried to, interview with them and didn't go. And I'm like, sincerely, Chili Piper does not take like entry level people. So I understand
Mm,
why you couldn't get in, but can you start with very early companies, people who are less than 10, in the company, reach out to the CEO. The CEOs are very accessible at that point. Reach out to them, use them as a place where you learn. Don't just get to the point where you're like, oh my God, I want to, work with Deal, or I want to work with Oyster, and everything. Work with smaller companies, and then get that experience for the bigger ones, and everything. So yeah, um, Ty
I
would
agree.
would
I
would,
agree.
would think about the cost. would think
yeah,
about the
yeah,
cost.
that's what time went to step in and be like, wait a second, let's talk about this a little bit more offline. But no, I was envisioning it as you were speaking, because right now you're solving a very big problem. Because here's the thing, in regards to there's tons of amazing people that have experienced transferable skills in other countries that just don't have the support, like we talked about, in the mentorship. And
Mhm.
also, I may add one more thing to that: the opportunity, right? They don't know where to find
Yes.
the opportunity in order for them to get to where you are currently at. And listen, I mean, not to get in anybody's business, but I can imagine if it's anything like how Americans are paid in tech sales, that goes a far way if you were back back bringing that money back home. You know what I'm saying? If it's a
True.
similar amount, it could go a far way. It could go a far way, and it could
It will.
change
It will.
communities if we're
It,
honest.
it will. Honestly,
and
it will
and
Yeah,
tremendously.
not to cut you short.
yeah, please.
I used to be around like software developers,
Yeah.
and sometimes they come back with their take homes and it's really big, and I'm like, sincerely, you're earning this because you're earning this because I'm not, speaking about the pay. So when it comes to Nigerians and tech sales, it's not the same thing as what people earn there in US. But whatever we earn here is
Mm,
still
It's still
really good.
substantial, like more
yeah.
than
Yeah,
substantial.
not substantial, is really good,
It is really
Okay.
good.
so
Okay. Ooh.
yeah, so it's
Wait,
it's
can I
it's
pause you for a second,
good.
Akachi? I want to make sure that the audience understands that as well. So you're saying that
Okay.
you're saying a company from another, let's say an America or Canada, for
Hmm.
example, they could hire
Yeah.
somebody that's it's less for the less it's actually going to be costing them less because they're not going to be giving a salary of what an American may make, but what is
Uh-huh.
comparable to what
Mm-hmm.
is in Nigeria, for example. But the pay that you're
Yeah.
receiving, you're like more than happy to say, "Oh, this right here. I'll
This
take
is
this.
good,
This is
honestly.
good." That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying right now.
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
company. So
And that's
listen
one
out
of
to
the
that.
things that, yeah, one of the things that I was
Oh
one
my
of the things
God.
that one of the selling points that, I was, I and Gertrude would work together with in reaching out to companies outside of Nigeria is you're going to, for example, if you're paying your entry level, okay, let me not call numbers, but
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're paying your entry level a certain amount, you could be paying like half of that for the service for the same kind,
Even better,
the
honestly, even better.
same target.
It's not the
Yes,
same.
even better
Even better.
sometimes. The same
Akachi,
target.
yeah.
She said, "Don't play.
Yeah.
We got it over here. We got it over here."
We
No,
are
but
very
truthfully,
hardworking people.
I
I
know.
worked with, yes, I worked
I
with
know.
somebody, who was like a Canadian's here. So that the day I travel to Canada, they are not going to chase me. But he was a Canadian. He said that he said that he feels like, having worked with Africans and Nigerians, that we speak better English and he trusts our emails more than what he receives there, over there. I
Wow.
was like, hold my beer, so
Oh
so yes, so that's one of the things that we are going to sell to the companies. You're going to pay less, you're going to have the same level of target, you're going to, you know emphasize like this person meets this level of target and you're still get a good job done. So yeah, yes to that.
there's a lot that we're gonna need to talk about offline. But
A
there's
lot, honestly, Joseph, a lot. I already noted the closer course you mentioned earlier, and I'll love
yeah.
for us to have a conversation about that because that's really a need here. Yep.
Yeah, and in fact, Kevin Dorsey, who I had the privilege of bringing him on to speak to our team at my company that I work with right now, the SDRs. I'm an SDR myself. I consider myself more of an enterprise sales advisor. He made a good point though, because we forget that we think when we think SDR, we don't realize what it really entails. We kind of get pigeonholed into thinking that's just an entry level position, but really what it is it's an invaluable tool, pipe generation for the company, which is like the lifeblood for any
Mm-hmm.
organization. So how do we look at that role should be a little bit different, because if somebody's efficient in doing that and doing it well, it's definitely a valuable tool that you still need to have in your organization. Anyway, all that to say is that I might talk to him and see if I could get him to talk to you guys. I want to see
Yay!
how we could work that out. But
Yes,
um,
please.
Kevin, really?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
if
That'll be
if he's
amazing.
open
I'm
I'm
to
not
it.
sure.
I mean, he's a busy man, but if he's open to it, that'll be really
is.
amazing. There's lots of talk. There's a lot of opportunities. Now, this is something I didn't because as we're talking, I'm writing down notes for myself. Um, the future of this movement seems bright. We talked about different areas that, again, we're going to probably talk about offline, but there's different areas where I could see truly this blossoming and growing. But what are some things that you see for the future of Tech Sales Nexus? And honestly, y'all, I might wrap this up soon because we're going to need to talk. But like, what are some things that you see as the future of Tech Sales Nexus in regards to what you're currently doing now and the opportunities that are becoming available to your community?
Okay. So, first of all, the future of Tech Sales Nexus, by next year, this is Akachi hinted earlier, but we'll need to use the name that is actually that we actually registered by next year. That's one. And
Okay.
then secondly, before the year runs out, we will be having our first physical live event,
Mm-hmm.
not what we've been doing, and people will have to pay for it. We're not doing it for free this time around
Yeah.
because of the quality of speakers that we are pulling in. People who have, like I said, a lot of people are doing sales, but there are a lot of names that just shields it, and it's like, okay, they're doing something else. But we've been able to have conversations with these people privately, and
Yeah.
we see that what they're doing, we should other sales professionals, aspiring sales professionals, especially in
Mm.
tech, should know about it. So we are working towards that already. And this is us saying it and committing to it. And now we have to make sure that it happens.
Yeah.
There is that. And we're thinking around, doing things like events that will be paid for, be it virtual or physical. We're thinking of monetizing some of our events, not all of it, some. And
Mhm.
yeah, like Akachi mentioned earlier, I'll just let her speak on that a bit. We're thinking of other ways to, partner with companies that, say, for example, excuse me, we partner with Cost Careers. We know
Yeah.
that when members of the community buy into the courses available on Cost Careers, we know that Cost Career gives them a discounted fee, and the more people we bring in, Tech Sales Nexus can earn from that as well. So we're looking at ways to monetize it and make it a standalone. And we never have to work for any other company, and we can just sell Tech Sales Nexus and not sell other things. But yeah, so far so good.
Well,
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
Oh,
so
yeah, totally agree. And Tyson is that you two should make an amazing course.
all
Again, we're gonna talk
right.
about that. We got Tech Coach Ralph in the building as well. He said, "What up, good people? So glad for him to stop
Yay!
by." If you
Hi,
are not
TikTok Ralph.
Yes, and if you're not familiar, and this is for you as well, the audience, but if you're not familiar, he's a QA software engineer. I'm gonna put out the whole thing, but
Oh,
he does a lot of different
cool.
things. But he has a channel where he
it's
pretty much goes
fancy.
live almost all the time, talking about the various things that he is doing in the space, and also unveiling new software that he's learning. So he's learning live with you. Great person to
Mm,
have. Reach out. Got a lot of experience in the field. So definitely lock in with him, y'all. Go to at Tech Coach Ralph on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. Do all those YouTubey stuff. Like, comment, subscribe,
Come
and,
and subscribe. Yeah.
connect with. Oh, we got the brother from another. We got Trey in the building. What up, Tech Back? Trey's in the building
Hi.
as
Hi,
well.
Trey.
Celebrating the
hey,
birthday of the little baby girl. And so he says, "Hey everyone, join us for our live show that we have on
congrats.
Mondays." Yes, Monday. Yeah, little baby girl,
Hi.
and join us for the live.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, sir, and join us for the live that we have Mondays. Mondays we have a live that happens every morning, 6 a.m. Central and 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so definitely join us for the live conversation there. Listen, y'all. Thank you for everybody for joining us. I'm going to be wrapping it up right now because there's some conversations that need to be had. But this has been so good. Thank you so much because we're gonna have you come back because I want to see how things materialize in a year from now and
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
even
Mm-hmm.
sooner than that.
Definitely.
I want to get connected. The link is below to Tech Sales Nexus, especially if you're on YouTube. You can connect with them on LinkedIn. And then also reach out to them. You see that they're nice.
yes.
They'll definitely
Yes.
share
We
their thoughts
respond.
with you. Yeah, text Russell.
Yep.
LOL. Thank you, Joseph. Going to watch this back. Thank you for your time, ladies. No,
Thank
absolutely.
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you,
Ralph.
Ralph.
Thank you
It's
so
so good.
much.
And yeah, there's a lot that we got to talk about, but I'm gonna let y'all go. And audience, and then, like I always say, until next time, I hope to see
Mhm.
you on the other side. But before I go, actually, is there anything you want to say before we go to the audience?
Well, I just want to say that it's been a pleasure being here, having this conversation with Joseph and Akachi. I miss the
Thank you.
fact that I and Akachi are co-founders and partners. It's good to have a conversation like this,
Hi.
and it keeps
Hi.
us reminded. It keeps us reminded of why we started and why we should keep going. Honestly, and it's a pleasure. Yeah, love, love,
Yeah,
love what you're doing as well, Joseph. Thank you so much.
thank you. Those appreciate those kind words. Those words honestly keep me going. So trust me, I
Well
appreciate
done.
everyone. Akashi, do you have anything you wanted to say before we go?
Yes, thank you so much, Joseph, for having us here, and thank you everyone for being here. Like it means a lot to us, and having you all hear
Yes.
about our story. It's now that we talk about it that I see like the impact we're making in a short period of time, and you know
Exactly.
how and how our hearts are really full for the sales community and how we're trying to help out. So thank you for coming around to hear us. And yes, like Joseph said, please connect with us on LinkedIn. Yes, we would love that. And yeah, join Tech Sales Nexus if you want
Mm-hmm.
to. Would love to have you, definitely.
And they're tagged on LinkedIn, y'all. So if you go back to LinkedIn, look for this, you could find Tech Sales Nexus tagged on LinkedIn as
Yep.
well as their YouTube page tagged here too. And if it's not, I'll fix it. But thank you so much, y'all. And like I always say, until next time, I hope to see you
Until next time.
on the other side. Take care,
Yes.
family.
Thank you, Joseph.